Oh,
Okay, now we are on air. You can all introduce yourselves.
okay. Who wants to start?
I'm Jimmy.
Hello, Jimmy.
Well, I'm David, and I'm from Ireland, so that's it.
I'm Ivan, and I'm from Canada.
Goddamn Canadians.
I'm Jen, and I'm from your worst fucking nightmare.
Oh, what a badass.
You have a Canadian coffee mug there, so.
Oh yeah, I'm fucking Canadian, man. Check out. That is how Canadian I am.
That's an accurate
Wow.
description of Canada, by the way.
Yo, the Canadian flag triggers me.
All right, I'll introduce myself. I'm Rowan, and I live in America, and I'm an Eternal Life fan.
Yeah, that's cool, man. America, fuck yeah.
I want to live forever, and I'm a Trump
Well,
supporter.
Daddy Trump, man. He
Big
should,
Trump
he should
supporter.
do this investment. Okay, I am Aman from the 50 Shades of Liberty. And today, we have everyone from all angles of the spectrum. We have the Alex Jones fans, the communists, everyone is here, the anarchists. I don't think we're missing any spectrum today, man. Anyone in the spectrum. Calvin, you can introduce yourself.
Wait. Do we have a Nazi? We need a Nazi. Come on.
Heil Hitler.
We have a feminazi.
Do we have a Hillary supporter in here?
Pinochet was
I'm a Hillary supporter.
James is a Hillary supporter. All right, this should be interesting.
sounds like someone needs a helicopter ride.
And there's
my
that
gosh.
guy with no mic.
It's like a plane. I should mute myself. Oops.
I'm Ian. I live in a cardboard box. Hello, everyone.
So we have a Hillary supporter, a Trump supporter. So do you have a Gary Johnson supporter?
I support the trans community.
What was the question?
Do you have any Gary Johnson supporters here?
The whole time.
Gay Trump supporters?
No, Gary
Gary
Johnson
Johnson.
supporters.
Oh, Gary Johnson.
Gary Johnson.
Oh. I'm definitely not a Gary Johnson supporter. I just made a video. I mean, my roommate just made a video about Gary Johnson, and he's horrible. Did you know Gary Johnson is for mandatory vaccinations?
He backed off on that.
No, he's against mandatory vaccination.
Nope.
He
No, he
backtracked
flipped.
on it. He's a
Yeah.
low information fucking. He's a fucking globalist, and the fact that this is an election on globalism makes him. It
What
just
the hell
invalidates
is
him off the
globalism?
fucking gate.
Do you think it's an election on globalism?
It totally is a referendum on globalism, and if people who don't know that, they're on the low information side of the fucking referendum. Sorry, I gotta stop swearing. It's
Yeah, I gotta
it's
say,
Marxism.
I completely
Why do
agree
you
with
think it's
Jennifer.
Why
Right
do you
there.
think why do you think it's on globalism?
Why do I think it's on globalism? I don't
That's
think it's
the
on
main topic.
globalism.
There's
I
more
know
than-
that it's on globalism because it's been an issue that's been people have been passionate about this for I don't know.
You think that's the number one issue, though? That's what I thought you meant.
Ultimately, it's a public opinion on how much of Karl Marx's cock everybody's communally swallowed. So like
But I don't see anyone
9/11, that was
talking-
like a big
I don't
fucking, that was a pound.
I don't
just-
really see
I-
anyone that supports anything from Marx, though. Who supports
What-
it?
It's subtly from
The
Marx.
one guy that did support Marx that is out of the race. That guy's
Labor,
dumb.
Labor Party in UK is a thing, and that dude's a Marxist, and all of the
Oh, I thought you were
qualities.
talking about America's election. That's what I thought you were talking about.
Well, have you read the Communist Manifesto?
Yeah.
They have a
No,
central
I don't
bank.
waste my time with things I know that are shit. Like
Yeah, but they have a central bank. They have quantitative easing. They have macroeconomics, which is Keynesianism, which is Marxism, right? So all these things
No, it's
come back to being Marxist.
Well, Keynes was born after Marx, so how
But
could
he
you?
modeled his thing on Marxism, so Marxism is flawed. So anything based on Marxism is also flawed,
Very
right?
different, but it's capitalist. But
One's
Keynes
derivative of the
is a
other.
capitalist, so I don't understand.
It
how,
only appears to be capitalist. It's exploitative or oppressive. I despise the word oppressive. I think probably everyone knows why I despise the word oppressive.
No, but he only supports spending money
Marxist-
whenever it doesn't crowd out the private sector. There's a difference. When an economy's not working at full capacity is the only time that he believes that Keynes supported actually spending money to stimulate an economy.
When is false true? Never.
What?
Have you read anything Keynes ever put out?
I've totally transcended Keynes. I don't need to read Keynes because it's based on a Marxist philosophy,
have you
which
ever
is
read Marx?
fundamentally flawed. It's fundamentally not free market, right?
Have you ever read Marx and Frederick Engels?
I'm aware of them as a phenomenon, and I'm also aware that their propaganda is designed to dumb people down so that they can't think outside of that box, right? So I can simulate that box in my head, and I can tell you it's false. It's like it doesn't make predictions. It's not a true economic system.
But Keynesianism makes predictions.
It does make predictions which are false. Well, you can make predictions about Keynesianism to demonstrate that it's false.
I mean,
Okay, can you define globalism?
After, have you seen what happened after our what was it called, the global recession?
Right, so that is something that's been that's been like in the works. There's been this crazy like the oscillations just get bigger each time, right? Like the poverty differential gets larger. Every time they try to solve the problem, they create more of the problem because Marxism has this effect of confusing cause and effect.
No, but you can't really even say that because after we establish, if you want to talk about central banking even be like you were before, do you know after it was established the American economy became more stable, right? You know that, right?
I know that if you have enough money in one place,
the business cycle stabilized. The recessions and
we're as unstable now as we were before the Federal Reserve. In fact, we're more.
Okay, so
what'd you say?
If you have enough capital,
more unstable now than we were before the Federal Reserve.
No, we're not.
We're way less stable now.
I will bring up let me go to the. I will go grab the data right now and I'll show it to you, and you can actually take a look at how it stabilized. This information is available. Let's go grab it. Excuse me for a moment. I'll be right back.
Jennifer, can you define globalism for us so we know what we're working with?
There's a very broad definition to that term because people coined it without fully understanding it. It's like alt-right.
Because I just hear throwing it around like, oh, he's a fucking globalist. Like.
Oh, so it's like my cuck? Is that it?
Yeah, it's an Alex Jones version of
Okay, so you can't quite put your finger on what globalism is because it's not something that anybody has fully defined, but essentially it's an increase in entropy in any type of a market system.
So what does that mean?
And what that means is the net change is to make money saturated, make a smaller number of people have more money.
So it's basically like, so you're telling me globalism is just elitism?
It's a consolidation of power. And
let's see the dictionary definition for the
around who? Who's like benefiting the most from globalism? Who's like the individuals benefiting most from globalism?
It depends what you mean by benefiting.
Like, who's behind all this and what are they seeking to accomplish?
Well, it's funny that you say that because how the fuck am I supposed to know that? I'm just some fucking random idiot from the internet, right?
So
well, I did have a brief stint of thing, but that was almost nothing.
Okay, so what can you tell us about globalism?
The answer is we'd have to put them all on trial and get to the answer.
Who?
Does Jennifer want to live forever? Jennifer, do you want to live forever?
I don't know if I have an opinion on that.
Are you okay with dying one day? Would you, if you had the option to live forever, would you want to?
I don't know. I never thought about it.
That's an important question to think about because living forever is possible.
Okay, so national geopolitical policy, right. They don't realize it, but what it does is it has a net effect of impoverishing people. Because every time you increase the, like for example, the net effect of going to the euro is to impoverish everybody. Because you're taking parts out of the economy that otherwise could generate profit. Like any type of cash exchange, any type of differential based on like a local advantage that you might have, that's all gone. So they don't realize that that's what they're doing. Like, they don't realize it when they look at the disasters that everything becomes. They're like, what happened? And they don't understand that they caused that problem because Marxism makes you fucking crazy. It's like a fucking cult. That's the thing. People are like, oh my God, I fucking fucked everything up. Better do the same thing over again.
Jennifer,
and that's why
would
I'm
you
like,
agree?
holy shit, you guys are fucked. So that's why I'm offering to
Jennifer,
put these people on trial because I figure I
would
can
you-
just grill them.
Would you agree that Trump is the most anti-Marxist option we have as president in the United States?
Oh my God! Anybody who's like one of these shills for the corporate, because it's like it's corporate interest, right? It's a bunch. Think of like a town bicycle. Like everyone's had a ride, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody takes a turn taking advantage of the fact that globalism exists. So Trump has done it, and he knows what aspects of globalism are unfair because he's participated in that system, right? The business side. The politicians, the career politicians, they're basically handpicked because they have certain qualities.
What aspects
High intelligence
of
isn't one of them.
are unfair?
And
which aspects of globalism are unfair?
I suppose the opaque ones.
What
The
does that
intentionally
mean?
secret ones are probably they're probably immoral. They probably wouldn't be able to happen.
What you mean
in
by
there.
that?
aren't globalists the ones who want mass unlimited immigration? Aren't the globalists behind what's going on in Europe right now? Just
Some of
letting
them
in
are.
all these refugees. That's
Some
why
of
I'm
them are.
against the globalists, and that's why I want Trump.
People don't realize that once Trump is in, you can basically get all the globalists gone from the U.S. minimum.
Jennifer, was 9/11 an inside job?
You know already what I think. Why are you even asking me that?
It was an inside job, wasn't it?
Okay, so there's no way it couldn't have been, right?
Why not?
Yeah, right.
Well,
Why not?
Oh, come on. Do I really have to fucking repeat
Yeah.
that a building caved in itself and fell at free fall speed for no reason?
Yeah, not for no reason. It was flew planes into it.
Building 7 fell for no reason, but the planes
it fell
flying
because of
into
fire.
buildings again,
Fire
that's physically impossible.
not.
So
No, it's not.
I love
It's
how
not.
everybody's all of a sudden an expert. You're an expert on being
You an
statist
expert?
cocksuckers is what you're an expert on. Yes, I am. I have a degree in math physics, actually.
Can we see your degree? Can we see your degree? Do you have it on you? By any
I don't have it on me. No, it's in my upstairs room. Do you really want me to go get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
What
right.
university did you go to?
She totally seems like the crazy cat lady type.
All right, guys, back. So here's some data.
Oh wait,
First-
she's gone to fetch her degree to show us to prove that she has
Yeah.
a degree. So you'll have to hold that thought.
What's her degree in?
Physics.
Math.
Supposedly physics and maths.
Oh, I'm with another.
Tell us
physics
about
person.
how 9/11 was an inside job. And both were people running the government.
Because apparently with first degree physics courses you can do those calculations without a supercomputer.
Wait, she.
Yeah.
First year? Let me see.
No,
Yeah, it's my first year. Fucking congratulations for participating in fucking phone tag.
What
Can
is
you
that?
see it?
It's a degree.
I don't know. I don't know if you can I don't know where the actual camera's picking. Can you see it?
Specialization, physics, and math. Oh wow.
You guys happy now?
Okay, so
I got one too.
Oh, I'm actually very depressed.
I don't have one in math. I have one though. I have an award for finishing in a math competition. The finals. Hold on, can I see that again? Where's it from? No, I want to see where you got your degree in, not the specialization. No. Move it
I have
down.
a question. I have a question for James, the Hillary supporter.
Yeah,
You ready for this?
yeah.
How do you justify Hillary as far as her wanting to let in 65,000 additional Syrian refugees into America. How do you attempt to justify that when I think that would definitely result in the deaths of innocent Americans from terrorism?
Possibly can. I mean, it possibly can.
What?
It possibly can. It doesn't mean I support that theory. I mean, not theory. I mean, it doesn't mean that I support that idea. I don't support it. I don't know. I don't support everything the candidate I want.
What else is different?
What do you have against Trump, James? Why do you think Why do you think Hillary is better than Trump?
I think she's going to be a better administrator. I think she has more experience. She's been in 2 branches of government. She graduated top of her class in college. So she's obviously pretty smart. Her husband. Hold on, let me finish.
She supports
her husband. She had a chance to look, and in person, like she had. I'm trying to think of the right word. She was right next to her husband while he was president, and she had the background to actually take that shit in and learn from it. And I think that's all like really important stuff. This guy Trump, he's pulling shit out of his ass. He's pulling stuff out of his ass.
Do not
see he won't let it. I mean,
frog being a white man.
What?
Wait, we can't hear everyone. Maybe we can go one at a time.
Have you not seen Clinton talking about how the alt-right is like being led by Vladimir Putin?
Your shit's breaking up. I can't understand what you're saying.
Can you hear me now?
Hold on. I'm going in another room because not only is your shit breaking up, but I have lawnmowers in my ear that I can't. I don't know if you guys.
Everyone else hear me?
So what do you know? Marxist.com has a thing in defense of globalism. Wow, what a shock!
So, hold on, and I'm going to put up the data in a second to show you guys which is why I left for a bit. But I was curious. You were saying something about entropy. So obviously you take physics. What were you saying entropy relates to? I had to mute it for a second. Jennifer.
Well, the entropy always increases. That's the thing that people.
Of course, but how did it relate to what was being discussed?
Well, globalism increases the rate of entropy increase.
You mean, yeah, we're mixing more in a sense, right?
The mixing causes an overall impoverishment because the net effect is always to decrease the individual buying power through at least.
Wait. It increases the or decreases the buying power. You said.
That's right.
Decreases.
It decreases the individual buying power of the individual unit of money.
Okay. So the fact that in recent years global poverty has been going down, buying power has been going up.
Is it just me or is his thing breaking up?
Yeah, he is lagging a lot.
Okay. Just seeing if that was just me. Well, first up, let's get to this thing before I get to the Hillary Clinton thing because you kind of like threw me off my mode. How do I put a picture up here? How do I upload a picture?
I don't know.
There's a chat, so maybe there. I don't know.
I'm trying to drop it in.
You could screen share it if you want to.
How do I do that?
Have any of you guys watched Hillary's America?
No, not yet. I want to though.
I recommend watching that. Exposes Hillary.
I don't think she really needs exposing at this point.
I would vote for Hillary because I'm quite sure where she stands on things. So I don't.
Me too. I also support Hillary.
I support our strong stance against BDS, whereas Trump is not yet. I've not yet seen him speak against BDS. Whereas Hillary has clearly said that she will shut down BDS.
Well, who do you think is going to be able to go after the fucking globalists? It's going to be Trump.
Wait, what did you say? Did you say BDS, the anti-Israel thing? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, BDS.
I don't even know what that's from.
Oh, really?
That's
another reason to support her.
I think we should come back to the globalist thing in the next discussion because I haven't looked at anything revolving around globalism in a while, and I think all of us could do that at the same time and have a more productive conversation. But I really am trying to share this screen. Google Hangouts. How do you share this screen? Is it in a? Can someone tell me? Is there like a button somewhere?
The left side.
What?
There's a desktop sign on the left side. with an arrow inside it.
Okay, I think I see it. All right, share screen. Let's see. So this is first up.
Yep.
Well, this will show you. You can see these contraction periods are much longer. If you look before the establishment of the Feds, I mean, look at them. We have from October 1873 to March 1879, 65 months. That's a tremendous contraction period. That was a long depression, if I remember correctly. And you can look at it if you guys want. I'll give you the data afterwards, and you can average out the contraction periods. They were ridiculous before the Federal Reserve. And next, we want to get to this one too. This one's really this. Jennifer can appreciate this. You can actually see the increase in the slope since that. Now, the oscillations might be a little bit more, but the increase in the slope and the actual trend of growth past the establishment of the Federal Reserve is much, much higher. And it's pretty flat before it. So let me share this part also. Share.
Am I the only one that can't see what you're sharing?
The first one?
Oh, never mind. I can see it now.
That's the first one. I'm getting to the second one right now.
Mhm.
File, share. Boy, let me get back to it. I am messing up the share screen. You guys can continue to talk while I get this. I'm sorry.
I've also linked a study on globalism and economics.
Yeah, so one of the problems is that most people can't think properly, so their arguments aren't structured logically.
Okay, so here we go. Take a look at how the slope increases after the establishment of the Federal Reserve.
Right, so that's a proof that it's a terrible system, right?
What's a terrible system? That the growth has increased?
Well,
This is
having
in
more
real-
money.
This is in real GDP, not just regular GDP. Take a
Okay,
look
so
at how
first of all, there's no way they could compensate for inflation. There's just no way they could compensate
I
for
said
inflation.
real GDP, which is the same thing as saying compensating for inflation. If you look
Because
it up,
it's a corrupt number. They don't actually measure inflation accurately.
A real GDP.
how does it not measure it accurately?
Because they keep changing the metric by which they measure it,
The
so
only
that
thing
it
that they
doesn't look
leave out
bad.
is oil and food because that fluctuates. And it's like oil, for example, is based on global stocks, so you can't really judge a domestic economy based on that. And then we have food, which is just like, you can have a dust storm and shit, or a dust bowl and shit, or I forgot what the term is. And that's just not, it's not relevant in an inflation metric. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know what you want.
So this is basically saying that the average.
Look at the slope. Look how this is growth, because this is real GDP per capita. This is real per capita GDP. So take a look at how that increases after the establishment of. I don't see what the problem is, and then if we go back to my other thing, I could bring this back up. You can take a look at that as far as length goes, like how the cycles have stabilized.
Yeah, so there's been an enormous acquiring of wealth for the United States.
Right, but also growth is relative, right? Growth is. So if we were to just zoom in, well, we can't really do it right here, but even if you were to zoom in, you would have to look from, I guess, 1800 to 1950. And if you were to just isolate that part of the graph, I mean, you would see how unstable the cycles were. It would be tremendously unstable. I mean, the results are in. It's not even debated anymore. The only way that those Austrian economists get around this is they say that evidence and math is not relevant in this discussion. That's exactly what they do.
What
That's
else?
what Austrian economists do. They're jerks. They're idiots.
Well, the problem with this statistic was that
The problem with what is?
the problem with this way of looking at it, like looking at the economy is better now. We have better technology now. Like global disasters doesn't affect us as much.
I can't understand what you're saying. I can't understand.
Yeah,
I
you're
think you
right.
should maybe you should
Reconnect?
yeah.
Guess I'll just listen for a while. I guess I don't know.
But we want to hear you talk. So
Mhm.
fix it.
Okay, I'll
No, we
fix
don't.
it.
Fix it.
Okay.
But now.
No, don't fix it.
Any
Okay.
businesses? sleep for 20, 30, 40, 50 girls.
So again, this doesn't mean that, this doesn't mean that this growth didn't come at a cost, because it obviously came at the cost of whatever had to be done to acquire it.
Is better? Can you guys hear me?
I mean, everything has a cost.
Yeah.
That's why imperialism is a necessary evil.
Right, so imperialism can't continue on forever, right?
It
Can you guys
will.
hear me, sir?
No, I don't.
Actually,
I think imperialism sucks. I mean, like.
Well,
most-
imperialism is an inevitability of a false economic system, which, as you can see right there with that expansion, is a false economic system.
tell me anything
So
that
most of our growth is based on not even from like imperial. Well, I mean, we're a 70% consumer economy.
The only reason you're
No, we have a well-oiled machine. I mean, most of our growth and stuff comes from within
petrodollars.
What?
Your growth comes from petrodollars.
What's petrodollars?
Petrodollars are the
No money.
United States money being considered the gold standard.
No, it's because we have a well-oiled like economy. We just
well-oiled with petrodollars.
Can you guys hear me better now?
we have a high consumer rate. That's what it comes from.
Hello?
Yeah, petrodollars.
Yeah, we can.
It doesn't mean it's. I don't know.
What do you mean? What do you mean petrodollars?
The United States
Someone take over.
trader for its currency for crude oil. It sets the
The
cost.
United States what?
The United States sets the cost
Yeah, but that's part of.
oil.
Hang on, can I say something about the Federal Reserve?
That's part of the great thing about being part of the empire. We decide what's good for the rest of the world.
Not when there's collusion with globalists, right?
I'm not opposed to having a hierarchy, for example, based on money. For example, I believe that a corporation should have more rights than an average person does, because a corporation does much more good to everyone than the way an average person does.
Sure.
So is the U.S. the corporation in this situation?
Can I say something about the Federal Reserve real quick?
Yeah.
This chart, these numbers, don't really account for the fact that our technology has gotten better.
It's growth, though. It's growth. It's not. It's
but,
growth. It's
salmon?
growth. It's growth. And if you actually look,
You're
let's
missing
take a
my
look at.
point.
Let's hold on. Let's take a look back at the chart. There was a shitload of growth from the second industrial revolution, and yet this thing is pretty flat. I mean, that is probably the biggest leap we've made. Was the second industrial revolution, when you have the invention of electromagnetism, or discovery of how to use electromagnetism.
Come on, you didn't let me finish.
And you have steel. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
So I was, back in the day, like any natural disaster would just destroy our farms. It would destroy our food system. And like
Okay,
the majority of people worked on farms back in those days.
The majority of what?
Majority of people worked on farms back in those days. Like, of course, the GDP growth is going to be lower than
What?
after.
You want to type it out, maybe?
Let me rephrase it. Can you guys hear me though?
No, we
Not
can't.
so well.
Okay, I don't know what to do then.
Just type it out.
Maybe.
I don't know. Hold on, I'll be right back, guys. I'm sorry. Take a break. I'll talk to my mom.
Well, this is fun.
Okay.
That is.
Okay, so we're getting to it. Basically, it's inflationary money system set up by, quote unquote, I don't want to say the Jews because I'm so fucking tired of hearing everybody hating on Jews, honestly. Like,
Wait, guys, did you see the writing by the Stormfront about Milo Yiannopoulos, where they call him a degenerate Jewish gay Jew or something like that? Yeah, like, I was like, come on. And they were like, he can't define the alt-right.
everyone leave?
No.
Everyone went to hell.
Everyone is just so depressed because of globalism that they just want to.
Oh, what were you saying?
Yeah, like totally.
It is depressing. I mean, there's only one solution, and that's just to put them all on trial and have people vote for what we do with them. Seriously, that's the only way to deal with it.
Ooh.
I'm depressed because of Hillary supporters. And I'm depressed because of aging. We need to cure aging, and we need to have Trump as president so that we can live forever.
Dude, we can't live forever, man. Our resources are very finite. They actually say there is actually a study that said that about our oil reserves will get over, our oil and fossil fuel reserves will get over by the next 32 years.
For me, the central issue of this election is about stopping mass immigration. Like we're seeing in Europe, we need to stop that, and Hillary's not going to stop it. So anyone who's voting for Hillary is essentially, wanting to usher in all the refugees. Like same thing what's happening in Europe. Like that should be a warning sign to us. We need Trump to close the borders, defend the borders, so that we can be safe.
It's not if, it's when. They're going to get some piece of shit new world order religion leader to come out and be like, whoa, and then they'll just attack you all and kill you all. Fucking bloodthirsty,
totally.
man. Most people have a crazy, animal side to them, though. It's just a matter of getting in touch with it. I'm sorry to tell you, but that's the plan. So believe me or not, but that is the plan.
So how do we protect ourselves? Do we go underground?
We immediately deride anybody who isn't 100% Ann Coulter. If everybody you know is not Ann Coulter, you have to make them Ann Coulter now.
Fuck Ann
So
Coulter.
you're a huge Ann Coulter fan. What do you think about Milo
I'm not Ann Coulter
Yiannopoulos?
fan. He's cool. He's cool. He's I just don't like to see him. He looks like he's really doing a lot of coke.
Yeah, he does
Dude,
some degenerate things, doesn't he?
It's not degenerate. It's like, if you want to be the gayest fucking gangbang, I don't fucking care. But why does it have to be broadcast everywhere? Like, if that's all you have to, but it's not all he has to broadcast. Like, he comes with an important message. So I guess his persona is, I do like him, yeah.
He does do some degenerate things. Let's be honest. The drugs you mentioned. That's one.
Everyone does degenerate things.
Well, I'm an anarchist, so I would always legalize all drugs, because illegal drugs is more of a problem than legal drugs. It's stupid to have them illegal.
Wow, so you're an anarchist. Well, how would you protect? How would an anarchist protect America from mass immigration?
Helicopters.
That's just solution to everything.
Just do it.
Not a Federal Reserve problem. More helicopters.
How would you do that?
You just.
So that's the problem you always encounter with people who are ideological anarchists, is they'll always have their one little perfect little world set up in their head that has to happen perfectly. But honestly, it's an ideal. So you have to transition.
I really don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
So how would you get the wall built under an anarchist system? Wouldn't you need a government building that wall?
It's an ideal.
You can put a fence up around your house.
You always need a minimum amount of government, but the idea is to minimize it.
I guess it could be a private corporation building the wall, right?
The only way to maintain a society long term is to keep people out who don't agree with your ideas.
So you're okay with defooing people?
I'm having trouble hearing you guys.
Same.
I'm saying, are you guys okay with defooing people? You anarchists, I guess?
Not be fooing, not that definitely stuff, more no faith.
Wow, I can't hear you, man.
Okay, just anything then.
As regards defooing, there's a difference between getting everybody to turn against someone and stopping talking to somebody. Sometimes you just have to cut people out because they're not nice. That's not bad.
you agree with Stefan Molyneux that you have to cut out everyone who believes in taxation from your family and everything like that?
Oh no, that's all I'm saying.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, just
I said,
cut everyone
you
out.
agree with Stefan Molyneux that you have to cut out every member of your family who believes in taxation?
Yeah,
Oh,
just cut him
no.
out and
Like
let him be
Stephen
like your
Molyneux?
god or whatever.
Oh, that's not what I said.
I took off my video. That might make it better.
You hear me better now?
Yeah.
No,
Huh?
you're still lagging.
Okay, whatever then.
Okay, so I was just asking you if you're okay with defooing someone who believes in taxation.
Oh, that's not what I said.
What
That's what I said.
What do you think? Do you think it's okay to defoo everyone inside here?
So I have a question for everyone. Is anyone in here afraid of death?
Yeah.
I'm afraid of death.
What's up with you and like death and life and stuff?
Listens to a lot of metal.
Who
Well, this
is
Oh, all right, makes sense.
I'm
Okay.
trying to live forever.
So how's that working out for you?
Well, he clearly hasn't died yet, so it's going pretty well.
I'm trying to live forever for real. I'm being serious.
Yeah, lots of people want that. Very common.
We have finite resources, and we can't sustain to make anyone live that much long.
No, I just want to live forever. Just fuck everyone else. I just want to live forever.
Probably live alone in the jungle.
No, why would I live in a jungle? There's no video games in jungles.
Well, you said you don't want anyone else, so you'll be alone in the jungle.
No, I want to be the only one to live forever.
Well, but I think
Damn.
this might be a bad news for you, but they said that in 2032,
I can't really
our
understand you.
production
You're
taken
not
over.
alone.
We'll have no more oil products to use. Like we'll no more have.
Okay, Imam asked me a question. Why does mass immigration suck? It sucks because you could be mass importing a culture that is against your culture, wants to take over your culture, like we see in Europe with Germany and the refugees, the mass, immigration. It's dangerous for the culture. Like, it would be dangerous for America to just invite all these Syrian refugees over here. And that's what Hillary Clinton wants. So she is a threat to all Americans. She even admires Angela Merkel. How stupid do you have to be to admire Angela Merkel?
Pretty stupid.
Mass immigration is bad. Immigration isn't necessarily bad, but right now it's being used as a tool. It's being used as a weapon.
It's being used as a weapon to destroy
I'm triggered.
Western civilization. Western
I'm-
civilization is our only hope for living forever. We need to have a Western civilization to develop these technologies that could allow us to live forever, cure aging. If Western civilization gets destroyed, how are we going to live forever?
Chinese are going to create some medicine to make you live forever. China is going to create the substance that will make you live forever.
Oh, you think China
Yeah,
will do
of
it?
course they will.
Nah, China.
Who else? Come on, who else is going to do it if not China?
South Korea.
Japan.
Nah.
They have no
All they
choice.
do is just make their own weak cartoons or whatever.
They're nowhere near the technology that would be required, and there isn't even a way to I can't even visualize how that technology would exist.
I mean, it's not really technology, it's just studying the human physiology and cutting out the excessive parts that weigh our life down.
Like your body?
Yeah, cutting parts of your body that make your life shorter.
Like
I
the
think
whole
there's a video by Stardust about that, where he talks about how we could make people live forever.
Elon Musk? I'm sorry, you're cutting out all the time.
Yeah.
Musk is a globalist.
Do we want to like start it over? I just feel like I can't hear anyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
I
can.
can hear you.
What?
Okay. Maybe it's fixing itself. Maybe they're just trying to psyop us into stopping because they don't want me sharing the knowledge with anyone.
Okay. Whatever
You ever
you
feel like
say.
your computer is getting taken over?
Nope.
No.
By globalists?
By globalists.
I told them, fuck you, reincarnation is thing, and if you let the fucktards take over, you're getting reincarnated into a world of shit. So if they think the people running things now
Reincarnation
can
isn't
actually
real.
save us, they're fucking retarded.
Reincarnation isn't real.
It's inevitable.
Yes, it
I
is.
proved it
Don't
with
ruin my
quantum mechanics,
dreams.
for fuck's sakes.
It's not.
I read
The
your
dumbest thing I've ever
I read,
Glad you read it.
I read your proof. I've never seen a mathematical proof that's only 4 pages long.
It's because I reinvented it so that people wouldn't be. I did it so that people
look at
wouldn't
you.
have to learn math, so that they would be able to learn it without math. And honestly, you don't need the numerical part as much. You just need to be able to visualize it.
Maybe we should share that article with everyone.
Okay, I'll get it.
Wait, what
Okay.
article? What's
The
going
idea
on?
is it's not that scary because if you don't remember your past life, then it doesn't matter anyway, right?
Hey, I'll make it so that will make everyone forget their life.
Would you prove that with math, though, that you get reincarnated?
I mean, like, I remember my past life perfectly. I was Michael Jackson.
Yeah, well, it's a two-state.
Like, I can even moonwalk. Not gonna show it though, because
It's one of the inevitabilities of quantum mechanical theory, actually. It's called
No, it's not.
interpretation.
I don't get it.
could you like explain that in like human?
Well, most people
even-
don't understand quantum mechanics, right? Because even the people who think they
Do you?
understand don't really understand.
Do you?
I understand part of it, not all of it.
Okay.
Like, I'm not some scientist. I'm just some random Irish kid. How do you expect me to understand that?
Okay, so quantum is just something that's like water, like a liquid is quantum in a way. Because, okay, think
In
about
what
it.
way?
Think about it with a glass of water. What's the shape of that water?
Flash shape.
See, I remember this. Shut up. It takes the shape of the container. I remember this from my science
So
class.
think
Water
about it
shape.
as a quantum of water. It's a quantum of water. Not individual water.
Water shape.
It's the same with
Okay, I
gas.
give
Like
up.
gas it expands to fill the shape of its container. So it's quantum mechanical in the sense that it doesn't have like something is either quantum mechanical or physical mechanical. And physics is physical or classical mechanical rather is what applies to solid rigid bodies. And because its motion can be predicted in a linear fashion. So when something's motion cannot be predicted in a linear fashion, you can model it quantum mechanically. In this lifetime, they call quantum mechanics specifically the wave-like behavior of matter. And what it comes down to is everything is either a particle or a wave. So a wave is like light. It doesn't have a mass, so it's just a like wave. And a particle is like, the particle limit is like the solid limit. But everything has sort of both of those things in it at once. So it's not so much learning, it's more learning how to look at things than it is actually learning math. So once you can think of it in that sense, quantum mechanics just becomes how things move when they're not solid. But according to quantum mechanics, as they've developed what's called the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, they've been able to kind of come to the measurement limit of mass, which is something that's really hard, I think, for people to get their head around. But just basically, things are either classical mechanical or quantum mechanical. And one of the things about a quantum, so that's a two-state solution, right? It's one or the other.
Palestine and Israel.
It's
What
either
time now?
solid.
It's midnight.
So anyway, quantum mechanics means that when something is a quantum mechanical waveform, in order to be reduced, it has to be observed. So that the observation of a waveform, so you know what an electron is? Has everyone heard of an electron?
Yep.
Yes.
Proton.
I've heard of it.
Okay,
So
we know.
Fundamental building blocks of matter, and they're waveforms. They're not solid things, they're wave things. So they have to interact with a measurement device in order for them to be observed. So that's kind of the hard, I don't know, maybe this is really hard to understand, but the brain is either a quantum mechanical system or it's a physical system. It's one or the other. And it's already been proven that it's physical system, so it has to be quantum mechanical, which means that it has to interact with something in order to be reduced. And if it's not reduced, it just remains in potential. That's a hard thing, I think, maybe for people to get their head around, but something is either in potential or realized. And that goes back to the quantum mechanics thing. Something's either solid or not solid. And if it's not solid, it's how unsolid is it? Coming back to the quantum mechanical thing, your waveform, your conscious waveform is created by electrical currents in your body that make magnetic fields. So essentially when you die, there's nothing for that magnetic field to interact with anymore because the flesh is no longer living. So there's no like feedback loop. So there's just this unobserved waveform that kind of floats away and eventually comes to a new body that is sufficiently similar to it that it can become alive again.
So so you're saying our consciousness leaves our body when we die?
It leaves it because the body is the projector of the consciousness, but it's also the receiver. So your physical body creates your mind, and then your mind decides how your body is feeling. So that's like the feedback loop. And when part of that feedback loop is interrupted, the physical part, the quantum mechanical part just sort of, it floats away because it's like an electron. Like an electron, you don't have to do anything, and the electron just exists. Same thing with any quantum mechanical projection. It just exists. Of course, it changes when it dies. It deforms, right, because of entropy. So you're in this tight human body when you're alive. It's a tight projection, and then when you die, it sort of diffuses. If that makes sense,
Right.
It's dreaming.
That's exactly what happens. Ask any scientist. Ask any physicist.
Yeah, right. They wouldn't say that. They probably say something like, "Oh, go to heaven."
So Jennifer, let me get this right. So you're saying that you think your consciousness will continue on after you're dead, or it won't continue on?
Oh, it will. I'll have to decide what I'm going to do with myself in the meantime.
So you think you actually have your same consciousness now after death, and you think that that's scientifically, that you think science backs that theory up?
I can remember my previous life, so it's not just that science backs it up, it's also like my own experience.
Oh, you believe in reincarnation then?
I remember it happening to me. Like, I don't remember anything, because like I took birth twice, so I don't remember anything before that first one. So I don't know.
You did what? Wait, you did what twice?
Like I was born, and then I died, and then I was born here.
So you remember being born.
I just don't see how memories can just transfer from like your previous life. Everything should just be written away.
For most people it is, right? For most people it totally is, because it's just too overwhelming, like the experience is it's too horrifying or whatever. But if you know how to keep things like in order, then you don't lose as much, or you can keep as much as possible, but what you can keep is not that much.
I don't get it.
Like, you don't remember your past life, so you obviously don't remember that. It's obviously not a large piece of information that comes with you.
I already told you, I was Michael
What
Jackson.
information come with you?
I'm more worried about the present moment than I am like 5 hours ago, 5 years ago, that sort of thing.
I think people's morality will change if they can accept reincarnation. I think they'll be a lot less likely to ignore their present life because they'll know that they're creating their future life.
So Jennifer, why don't you just make an appointment with sign up for a physics master's class and just go meet the professor and then just show him your calculations. And why isn't this published and peer-reviewed, this paper that you have?
Well, pretty much nobody can understand it, and when they can understand it, they get
Really?
angry at me.
So you've shown it to a physics professor?
The reincarnation one?
Mm-hmm. Or any of the things that are written on your blog?
Yeah, I showed my physics prof. He got scared. My other friend, I was slightly worried he was going to have a breakdown, but I told him, like, you just got to laugh it off. Because there is some of the stuff about the teachings that cause you to maybe have, like, a mental, I don't want to say mental breakdown, but...
James is just joining us. We were just talking about your mathematical proof for reincarnation and the fact that no professor will publish this because they're scared.
Well, I haven't tried to get it published. I'm not really interested. Like, I don't believe in the system, so I'm kind of just like telling.
Wait,
I'm
but
trying to fuck the system up, basically.
Didn't you say that you want people's morality to change when they're aware of reincarnation? So why wouldn't you want this to be a well-accepted scientific fact?
Well, I don't have any faith in that system.
What system?
Why were you the only one that came up with it?
I don't know the answer to that, sweetie. I really don't. I wouldn't have done so much if anybody else was working on it. And this is sort of like recess for me.
What do you mean by that, recess?
Well, the first thing I did was transcend the periodic table.
I've seen that. I've never seen a theorem that can be written in 4 pages. That's unheard of in math.
Here it is.
I've seen that.
Who haven't seen it? Can you guys see it?
I've never seen a theorem expounded upon in 4 pages. That's scientifically unprecedented.
Aw, thanks. Well, that's really nice of you to say. The problem is that most people can't accept it. So what I have to do is talk to people who are in adjacent fields, like engineering, for example. Luckily, I have somebody who did their degree in, what's the one? General relativity. He's been really good. He's at least plugged into it.
Have you tried contacting people that already believe in reincarnation, just to maybe they'll have somebody else that will contact other people?
Dalai Lama.
Well, I think the Dalai Lama believes in reincarnation.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You should send it to him. Send it to Donald Trump. We'll teach it in school.
I don't know, what would you do? I mean, I figured out the periodic table, I did the general, the mass thing, quantum mass thing, and then the mind thing, and then the Marxism thing. Well, the Marxism thing was like, it was for fun. I kind of got in the news around that time as well. And I realized people were like really unhappy from getting in the news, so. I'm open to taking suggestions, I've always wanted to put the globalists on trial, but.
You should read Marx before you go around talking about him so much.
I know what he is, and he's a fucking degenerate who killed his kids. So he's worthless. His basically appeal. It's appeal to the most crass aspects of humanity, like shitty religions. They appeal to like the low aspects, like the selfish, base aspects of humanity. Unfortunately, Marxism, it sounds like a good idea because you've never, unfortunately, if you could hear alternative ideas, you probably would reject Marxism.
You haven't read the book.
Like, it's just such a huge deal. Like, people think it's such a cool thing to be into Marxism. It's like, what? It's such a stupid fucking...
You haven't even read Marx, though.
I have read Marx, and I am aware of what the communistic ideals are, but you have to look at the greater sociological picture at the time. Like, why is that ideology taught everywhere and nothing else? Because that's just one ideology. Why is only that ideology taught? Because they're trying to fucking turn people into slaves that just do Marxist stuff, that enslave themselves more and more and more. subconsciously, because that's what Marxism was. It makes you more slavish towards the banks.
But Marx didn't like banks. He wanted to abolish all capital. There's no banks.
Abolishes all the capital. It's the banks. By deflating the currency supply.
Wait, what about the banks? I'm not following.
Well, let's say they have a fake fucking flag terrorist attack where somebody attacked the banking system and the banks went down and oh my god, all your money's gone and the internet went down, and that's gonna they're probably gonna try some bullshit like that. And they'll be like, oh, everyone's poor. Oh, look, the hero's coming out. The bank is gonna come and rescue you now. It's like, it's the same shit it's the squeeze. They always give you the fucking squeeze, and that's what I hate about them. They're so dishonest too.
The globalists.
If they were doing something righteous, they wouldn't have to go about it in secret.
Hey, Jennifer, I'm curious. What else do you remember about your theoretical past life?
I was born in the light world, and then I killed myself because I wanted to know what the fuck is everybody's obsession with Jesus.
Yeah.
So I took on the personality of Jesus, and I said, okay, I'll die for their sins and come in. And then so there was that. And then I came into another world, which was more fire-ish. And then I said, I'll go into the land of illusion and find the right path, which happened to be, Ottawa.
Wait, so are you saying in a past life you were actually... Wait, are you saying in a past life you were Jesus?
No, I took the personality of Jesus.
Oh, okay. You took the personality of Jesus.
So that I could tell people it's just not that great of a religion. I mean, obviously. I mean, it's a good religion, but it's not a great religion, right? Like, it's not the worst religion in the world, but why would you want to be part of not the best religion?
How do you know all these memories aren't just like a dream you had, or...
They could be.
How do we know you didn't make this all up?
I could have. But then again, how many of these do you see hanging around? And it seems pretty obvious now in retrospect, doesn't it?
There's like tons of those on DeviantArt.
It's not that special in the rear view.
Here's an idea. Even if reincarnation was true, which I don't think it is, but even if it was, why would you want people to believe that? Isn't it better for people not to believe that there's reincarnation, so that they're more fueled to cure aging? Because if everyone thinks there's reincarnation and think they're going to get another life, maybe they wouldn't care about curing aging and extending the human life, that we have right now.
Right. Just look at India and the respect that they have for human life based on their beliefs about reincarnation.
What's the difference between reincarnation and just dying forever?
Oh, so are you saying, Imam, are you saying that India would have less respect for life because they believe in reincarnation?
Well, they do. I mean, look at the caste system. Look at their culture until the British civilized them.
Absolutely.
Thank God for imperialism.
Yeah, thank God for all of the lives that it saved.
I fucking love the imperialist British.
Imperialism is good, man.
Colonialism
bad idea.
never happened to most of the world.
Yeah, because if you believe in reincarnation, then all of a sudden these people will make excuses and say, well, these people are in bad situations because they did bad things in their past life, right? So they kind of rationalize this unfairness in the world.
That is the truth, though. You are the product of your previous actions. And the continually denying that just creates more denial, creates more ignorance.
I must have been pretty fucking awesome in my last life then.
So Jennifer, you not only believe in reincarnation, but you also believe in some kind of system of karma that is connected to that reincarnation system. You think that if you behave good in this life, you're going to get a better next life.
Okay, so according to some teachings, they say that when you exit the physical, the time dimension becomes uncoiled. So the way we experience time day to day is all pretty much the same. But it becomes apparently uncoiled, so through that mechanism you could potentially see your next life. And then the physical mechanism for it, I would say, is probably more along the lines of it's about how similar you are to the body you find. So the body you're born into has like a certain predestination to it. There is free will, but then there's also, you're going to be born to certain parents. Those are people.
Free will doesn't exist.
Sorry.
Yeah, what do you mean by free will?
Well, we have a quantum mechanical projection, and we take measurements from it. Those are our thoughts, emotions, and sensations, meaning that everything that we, on some level, there is an uncertainty relation operating, which means
how does that relate to free will?
Uncertainty relation means. Do you know what the single slit experiment is?
Yep.
Okay, so
Actually, I don't. Can someone explain that?
I'll just say single slit experiment. It's basically talking, and I'm sorry, it's explained horribly. I've simplified it down a lot. It's basically when you introduce. Whoa, I'm trying to find it online here. I'm having a hard time. When you put a slit in an electron, essentially becomes it interferes with it and it becomes reduced. Sorry, I'm having a really hard time finding a good explanation for it.
So, Jennifer, do you believe in God then?
It depends what you mean by God.
Well,
are you a theist?
You must believe in some kind of God in order for this whole reincarnation karma system to work. Because how would that work in a naturalistic, non-God universe? How would there be such a system? Sounds like there would have to be a God to set that system up.
There's cause and effect.
What if it was alien?
What does that mean?
Cause and effect. Well, think about it. When you die, you take a new body that is more. The word is coherent. So, okay, you ever go in a room with someone and you're look in their eyes, and then
we have to accept that as a premise. We have to accept reincarnation as a premise to understand this cause and effect thing.
No, it's well, you have to accept that the mind is a quantum computer.
I'm not sure if I accept that, but okay, let's accept that for the sake of the argument.
When you have a quantum projection, there's something which is called the tensor product, which is when two quantum waveforms are in sufficient proximity to each other, they can interfere and create a new waveform. That's called the tensor product. When you're with someone in the same room, like your consciousness tends to equalize. But it'll only equalize to the extent that you're coherent with them, right?
Wait, what does that mean? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Equalize. Your consciousness equalizes. What does that mean?
Well, have you ever had the experience of having your state of mind changed by who you were in proximity to?
My state of mind changes constantly.
But have you ever had it change as a consequence of a particular person that you were in proximity to? The best experience of it is looking straight into someone's eyes for like 5 minutes. Then you'll definitely feel a difference. I wouldn't recommend it, but it is the best way to experience it.
Yo, what you were talking about quantum waves. What were you mentioning about it?
The tensor product is the result of that interaction between two waveforms. So if I have a conscious waveform and you have a conscious waveform, they can interact, but they can only interact if they're coherent. If they're completely incoherent, there's no way. Like,
yeah, how does that? I don't. Where's the brain? Where's the waves? Like I don't know what you mean by conscious wave.
Doesn't our brain have trillions of waves?
Yeah, you're very complex. I don't think it's possible to visualize the entire projection at once. Honestly, I think it's.
You think it goes through the air, like from my brain to another brain?
Yeah, think of it like a bunch of these, because these are the electrical fields. The electrical fields are more like they're created by your circulation system. So the magnetic fields, I think, are a little bit like this, and they kind of go like that. And they can get bigger and smaller. Like, think about, you ever had that feeling when you're falling asleep and then it's like you're falling and then you kind of wait, like, that's when you're sort of doing this. And then all of a sudden, like, you're super far, but then you wake up, you just sort of snap right back.
Okay.
This being explained with more naturalistic physical explanations. Like you were just dreaming and you woke up because of the dream.
Well, it's just an explanation mechanism for it, really. It's just waves and particles, so that's why physics is kind of hard to get your head around, because it's one or the other. There's no alternative. Wave is just more like, and particles more stable. But to visualize it, it's hard. Like wave is like, boop. That helps.
I have no clue what any of this means.
Well, you're gonna have a hard time because not a lot of people understand it. Because basically, you guys
The wave part of it really goes away when you're talking about more than one particle.
That's the limited understanding that they have of quantum mechanics, because they've made the assumption that quantum mechanics only applies on the fine scale, except that the universe is actually fractal.
No, I mean, like, even when it goes into like deeper theory, that's like the early like stages of quantum, like the early like theory of quantum, like what's it called? Like once you get to like the like the quantum electrodynamics, I'm pretty sure I've heard that the wave theory goes away.
I think quantum electrodynamics and all of those things are basically false. Like I don't believe in.
But it produced results. Why do you think the experimental results are wrong?
Well, I don't think the strong and weak nuclear force I don't think they make predictions, because basically they're just explanations. You don't need that many forces to make predictions.
I forgot what the predictions were. Let me find them.
The predictions of the weak nuclear force is an asymmetric.
Well, not the nuclear force. Not the nuclear force. I'm talking about quantum electrodynamics. Quantum electrodynamics is just the electricity and magnetism combined with
their conservation of mass diagrams. And I remember when I were doing them in university, and I thought they were too complicated, so I dropped the class. So
I've never heard of. I mean, I've never seen a conservation of mass diagram. I never seen. You're talking about Feynman diagrams?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I never heard them.
Wrong. My theory basically falsifies Feynman diagrams, so a lot of people are really upset.
Okay.
Cool.
Anybody who's studied physics, anybody who's doing any work in particle physics, a lot of people in chemistry are upset, but I think they probably saw that coming, and I don't think there's not as much money invested in chemistry. So.
Wait, so you mean that how are all of these people aware of your breakthrough if it's not in a peer-reviewed journal of any sort?
I posted it to a website that had posted an article about how are we going to find elements past 118, and I just told them that it's not possible, and then I gave them my explanation. And then some guy like totally lost his shit. It's not good.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, there's always going to be some, the thing is they're not doing science. They're just being Marxist, right? Like I don't play that shit.
What does this have to do with Marxism?
Oh, we don't play that shit.
No clue what this has to do with Marxism.
Marxism's all just about cutting people up. It's just about cutting everything up and chopping it all down and criticizing it and chop, chop, chop and shooting you in the face and making your life hell. It's like if you divide things too much, you say, okay, well, this is a discipline and this is a discipline, this is a discipline, like you don't get to see the whole picture. So it sucks, people lose out on the ability, but I feel like you guys, I feel like what I did is something that can bring someone of average intelligence or above average, slightly above average intelligence up like 10 IQ points, hopefully.
Okay.
Very generous.
Well, you guys are my proteges. Well, when I got kicked out of my yoga class, you guys know my yoga story, right?
No, I'm new.
You don't know my yoga story? Oh my god.
No. Would I know it?
Okay, well, why the fuck wouldn't you know it is more what I'm thinking about. Just kidding. Yeah, so I was in the news because my yoga class got canceled.
You were in the news?
I was like, it was a worldwide thing. It was a worldwide thing. Like, there was so much media interest. Like, literally, they were calling for like 3 months. But anyway.
But I wish I got that much media attention.
Anyway, after that, I just decided to destroy whoever it was that thought that they could cancel my class. And it turned out that the reason my class was canceled was because of cultural Marxism. So I just decided to destroy that.
Okay.
That's the plan. So you guys, everything I'm doing now is for there to be more of me and people who just do, I don't want to say do my bidding, but just, use logic. Yeah, you don't need to as long as it's logic, I don't, you know what I mean? Some teachings are what they call a cult. They're dangerous to teach people, and I completely agree with that. But I think some teachings, honestly, it's unfair for not everybody to have them. I just hope all the societies can benefit from it.
I can't really follow any of this anymore.
Jennifer, how sure, if on a scale from 1 to 10, how sure are you that reincarnation is real?
I'm pretty sure. What it ultimately means, though, is if you don't remember your past life, it doesn't matter anyway. Right?
Well, I'm just wondering, do you take comfort in this belief in reincarnation? Does it make you fear death less because you think you're going to have another life after this one?
It makes me fear death less, definitely. But it also makes me more afraid because the thought of living forever is scary.
But if you fear death, if you have less fear of death, might that be a bad thing? Because if you have less fear of death, maybe you're not going to try as hard to be especially healthy and live forever physically in this world.
Not everybody thinks that way. You can't change how people think. Like, you can only really give them the tools to improve themselves. And well, okay, that's not strictly true, but largely it's true. So, and that's just how I prefer to do it. So I wouldn't.
And if given the option, if you had the option to live forever, I wonder if because you believe in reincarnation, maybe you wouldn't choose to live forever because you would think maybe you're missing out on another life. Does that ever? You think that would?
I won't be alive forever, I don't think. Well, not every life is going to be worth living, I don't think.
Not every life?
Holy crap.
I imagine most lives would be pretty dull. This life fucking rules, so...
So you're saying you probably would want to live forever in this life?
There's just a lot of pessimism from your point of view. Like,
well, why are you unsure, Jennifer? Why are you unsure if you'd want to live forever in this life? I'm just curious.
In this current incarnation, would I want this body to live forever?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I just rather go through the life and just die when it's natural to die.
Okay, but if you die, you might get nothing because you realize your belief in reincarnation is just a hypothesis. It's not proven. You don't know that it's real. So by dying, you're risking getting absolutely nothing. Doesn't that bother you?
No, not at all. I was born with, well, the thing that I took over the death event or whatever you want to call it was a faith in the knowledge. So I just had pure faith that I could find the knowledge, and I feel like I did find it. So my faith has been validated, and now I just feel so happy. So how could I be ever sad? Like, I'm never sad.
Well, that's a positive, I guess.
I get in a bad mood sometimes, and people annoy the shit out of me.
Why are you so happy? I missed that. Why are you so happy?
Can you see it?
Because you think reincarnation is true. That's what makes you so happy.
That's because it's because I had faith in the knowledge, and I was able to derive, using the math in this culture, I was able to derive the periodic table, and it's a very happy feeling. And now that I get to teach people, it's even better. Of course, I've got some sad feelings, you know, because not everybody understands it. You know, I thought people would just go like and understand it right away, you know, and it would just be amazing. But people have a hard time, I guess, with that. So, but generally,
why do they have a hard time with that?
Well, you don't, right? You understand it.
I don't understand anything.
So what makes you special then?
I don't know.
Probably that I'm Irish.
It's more that what you don't have than what you have, honestly. It's about what barriers are missing. Because most people they live in this little prison of pretentiousness and whatever else. Like, they're just so obsessed with looking like a good person, and the culture makes it very hard to be actually genuinely a good person. Because there's so much confusing information out there. The short answer, I think, is that people can't understand it because it's too simple, or it seems too simple on the surface to be right.
This is pretty crazy, if you ask me. That's simple. I don't understand it.
Sorry?
I have no clue what's being said anymore. Give me a new topic.
So do you think, Jennifer, do you think you just keep on reincarnating on and on and on and on forever? You're just going to keep on reincarnating into another incarnation?
It depends on the teachings. Some teachings, Buddhist teachings is one way, and other teachings are another way. You know, for me, I just have my own personal experience. Like, you have to realize that most of the information out there is false. And that most of your impressions, unfortunately, if your impressions are formed by false information, it makes it hard to kind of backtrack and figure back out the right way to think.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, yes, I think people will just keep reincarnating for a very long period of time.
And if you lose your memory, after each incarnation, doesn't that defeat the point? It's like, what's the point of reincarnating again and again and again if you keep on losing your memory? It's like you're in a constant state of amnesia or something. You lose yourself every time.
Well, that feeling, I think, is what causes, you know, because to come to the point where you want to be spiritual, you have to come to that through your own experience. It's not like someone can come up to you and give you a rational point of view and be like, okay, I'll be spiritual now. You have to kind of come to it through an inevitability. I guess that's what I'm trying to show people in a way. Like, if that is the reality, if that's an unfalsifiable reality, then maybe we should be living our lives differently so that we're not so stressed out and afraid of things like dying all the time. Like, this fixation with living forever, honestly, to me that seems really unhealthy. Why the hell would you want to stay the same forever? What is it?
Well, let me ask you
It's not about staying the same. You can still be a different person. It's much safer that way.
If you're ever bored, you can kill yourself.
Yeah, Ian's right. It's about preserving the consciousness that we have, because as much as you would like to think there's reincarnation, it's not proven. So it's just a hypothesis. And so we want to keep the brain that we have right now so that we can live forever.
Hey, is anyone here a fan of J.P. Sears? Speaking of spirituality.
He's hilarious.
Best day?
Yes. Yes, he is.
Well, Jennifer, let me ask you this. If you found out there was no reincarnation, and if you found out that if you die, you cease to exist forever, would that bother you?
No, that's the easier solution. I mean, I'm sure I wish that were the truth, that we could just be gone forever. It just seems to violate the order. It doesn't seem right.
So you have no problem at all with ceasing to exist forever?
I mean, what am I holding on to? I've already had, this life has been so, honestly, except for, like, I wish I could have had more BDSM. It's been fucking perfect. But other than that, you know, it's been a royal, wicked time.
Well, doesn't it? I mean, then the more you love life, the more sad it is if it's over. Wouldn't you want to live forever?
That's only if you have attachments to impermanence. So by focusing on impermanent things, like an impermanent body, you just form more attachments, you become more unhappy. But if you focus on permanent things like knowledge and
knowledge is impermanent
and stuff, then you don't have those, you don't get bogged down that way.
Knowledge isn't permanent. If you end up dead and you cease to exist, you lose all your knowledge.
People, this knowledge, whatever this is, has been known by someone before, and now I know it too. And so it's like, to me, I feel like there is a permanent knowledge, that there is a finiteness to the universe that as a human you can experience. I don't want to say the whole universe, but
if you die and cease to exist, what's the point of your life? Isn't your life meaningless then? If you just end up dead and you lose everything you ever had, what's the point?
I think that's a very male perspective. I think that's a part of the natural male mindset where you feel very compelled to have a child. So I think that's just like a nagging existentialist thing.
Well, having a child wouldn't benefit you if you're dead. It wouldn't matter if you had a child. They're not you.
Genes. Ultimately, that's the biological imperative, is propagating your gene.
What do you guys think about oh no, Israel. Let's talk about Israel.
Pro.
Let's talk about the Israel-Palestinian conflict.
They don't have enough hentai.
I think the whole problem has now been solved.
Yeah, they just need more.
You just need to send some anime to them, and everything will be fine.
How much time do you think before they actually get that thing, like figured out?
What? I don't think
Israel, Palestine. How long?
it's gonna be
Like random guesses. Just pull them out of our ass.
It's
100 years.
1,000 years.
not get solved.
What?
It's meant to go on forever.
Never solved?
It's unsolvable.
All right. Who else? What other guesses are there?
100 years.
Muslims.
I'm going to say 16 years. Because that's when we'll run out of resources. And
3 months.
that's
So
everyone.
I might even say 1 year.
Has anyone read Hyperion?
Sounds familiar, but I never read it.
Anyway, it's this sci-fi, and I guess it takes place like 700 years in the future, and there's a Palestinian guy as one of the characters, so I guess maybe that will still be a thing.
Still going on.
Well, it's designed to not get solved because it's a distraction tactic.
I mean, most things have progress over time, though, don't they?
Not in this
It could
case.
take a long time, but
Okay, first of all, do you understand the genetic issues in the area, like the amount of inbreeding, sadly?
I mean, here's how I look at it. So as soon as we
Yeah.
escape from this planet, we can just nuke it, along with all the Palestinians.
But about the inbreeding thing, Jews are very inbred, but they have the highest IQs, so I don't think that that's necessarily a contributor to the low IQs that we find in the Muslim world.
Are you sure
What's that?
that inbred?
That what?
I think we need to have measures to counter that more so than marry your first cousin.
But look at the diseases that, I mean, obviously we're not doing it anymore, but look at the diseases prevalent in the Jewish community. That's because of inbreeding. Ask anyone who had relatives from the old country. That was quite common practice to marry a cousin.
Well, inbreeding doesn't
stopped
always
recently.
lead to low IQ. Inbreeding doesn't always lead to low IQ, though.
Exactly. So I don't know. I mean, why do we think that? I mean, I've heard people say it many times. Why do we think that inbreeding is the reason that Muslims have low IQs? Why couldn't it be, first of all, poverty?
Poverty's big.
Well, because if you
Malnutrition.
fit for those factors, most Muslim countries still have a lower average IQ.
Lower than what? Name I mean, Ethiopia is a Christian country, and I'm not sure how inbred Ethiopians are, and I see the common theme in the lowest IQ countries is they tend to be the poorest, most malnourished countries.
Even Muslim countries that are pretty well off have lower average IQ.
Yeah, I would agree with that. For example, Saudi Arabia. And
Saudi Arabia.
Muslim countries.
Saudi Arabia is not a rich country. Most people are poor in Saudi Arabia. I mean, they have a lot of money, but most people are poor there.
How long has Saudi Arabia had money?
Yeah, like what, 20 years?
I'm curious. I don't know. I don't know how long. I'm asking.
They've only been a country for like 100 years, so.
Okay.
And they weren't rich in the beginning. They only became rich. I can't remember. Maybe, I guess, in the last 50 years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people there live in
help better in the future.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know why people think Saudi Arabia is a rich country. Most people there live in poverty. No, I mean, there is a lot of money, but it's concentrated with a few thousand people.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
It's just a great spot, you know. I go there on vacation all the time.
You go to Saudi Arabia on vacation?
Well, don't you?
No.
I thought that's where everyone went.
I would love to. I'd love to go snorkeling there, but it's impossible.
Is Dubai nice? That's the only thing I know about Saudi Arabia, and I might even be getting that wrong. It's in Dubai, right? They have Dubai, right?
Just a desert.
Oh no, couldn't tell you.
That's another country, but again, in Dubai, how are you measuring? If you're including the United Arab Emirates in your IQ survey, well, only 1% of Emiratis are Arabs. 90% are foreign workers from various countries. So, okay, you can't include Saudi Arabia because that's actually a poor country. You can't include United Arab Emirates because most people there are not ethnic Arabs. You have Qatar. That's a very, very small country. So,
on a hotbed of oil, right?
What's that?
It's like a small country on a hotbed of oil, right?
Yeah, and I mean, there's so few people. How can you? I mean, I don't think that's. You can draw conclusions from one or two countries.
I only know that place because it has the highest GDP per capita. That's the only thing I know about it. But that's just
Right.
like a small, like you said, it's like a small population.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's no way to know for sure until more research is done.
Yeah.
Well, we can look at Muslims in America, and I don't think there is an IQ difference between them.
Sure.
I mean, I think if you look at any race, and they did that study with African Americans in Germany, who were raised in Germany, no IQ difference between them and white people. So I don't see
Maybe it was
what's the basis.
it was a small sample size. They're half white,
Mm-hmm.
and they were mostly children of soldiers. You know, the
Yeah, I know, but
IQ ones were kicked out of the military back then.
But why would, if being black had an impact on your IQ, why would half black people be just as smart as fully white people?
Culturally, and also if it's a small enough sample size, it's like
It was a small sample. Well, the first thing is that there is a small sample size. The second is that maybe the French women don't like stupid guys, and they didn't mate with stupid guys, and maybe they're selected out of
I think they controlled for the average IQ of the parents. I'm not sure if they did, but that sounds like something they would take into account. I'm sure they didn't take the highest IQ black people and the highest IQ white people. I'm not sure if they controlled for that, but I assume they did.
Yeah, I don't know why a single study done in Germany of half white, half black children is completely conclusive on racial.
Well,
IQ.
I don't know why. Okay, so I don't know why a study of of black people in America, where we know that black people are disproportionately impoverished, why would that be conclusive?
Why are they disproportionately impoverished?
Because of their culture, because they have cultural problems.
I think it's taken an aggregate with also Asians being a lot of the higher distribution. I think it's like an aggregate thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a cultural component, right, in the United States. No question that there's a cultural component to it, but how big that, it's not also, there is also I don't know what you want to, I don't want to say a racial component, but there's like a DNA component too. It's, you can't,
I don't know. I'm not saying there can't be, but I mean, I don't think we have evidence for that. We know IQs have been going up. We know that nutrition, that improper nutrition brings down IQ. We know that IQ itself has been going up for the last 15 years or so, and I don't know. It seems like they really have a very, very detrimental culture. And I'm not, of course, not all. It's not the fact that they're poor. It's that they have an anti-intellectual culture.
Why would races have so many biological differences, physical differences, but nothing in the mental? Nothing mentally.
Who says that they don't? I'm just saying we don't have enough evidence to suggest. I mean, maybe there is, but I've not seen any evidence to suggest that.
Wait, hold on. What? I didn't catch the last part of what you guys were saying. Just
what?
Never mind.
What's the last thing?
Never mind. Just before. I'm sorry.
yeah, I think culture is a bigger part. I think you're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's something that I don't know if it's possible to change that in any way.
Sure it is.
Well, I mean,
How is it possible?
the culture here has become way more Marxist because they teach Marxism, for fuck's sakes. That's what I'm trying to...
You never answer my question about Marx.
This notion that one class is oppressing another is fallacious.
You never answer my question. What books from Marx have you read?
What have I read about Marx?
No, what books from Marx have you read? Like, which of his books?
I don't think I've read any of them. I just tracked down where the source of the mental decay was, and it was Karl Marx's, whatever, his book, and then also a bunch of other people were influenced by him. Like, a lot of people wrote based on his ideology, so all of those people are also, unfortunately... It sucks because it's like the entire education system is corrupted with Marxism.
Don't you think you should read his books before you talk so much about him?
Well, I know that modeling reality as an oppressor class oppressing some poor oppressed, like the system itself is flawed because it doesn't actually take into account...
How do you know if you never read it?
Well, I've read summaries of it, and I've read several people that wrote about him, and I've seen the disasters that have been caused as a result. Like, just think about it logically. Why is only one random guy who never had a job, who was a degenerate, who treated everybody poorly, why is his theory taught? Why is Che Guevara adulated? Like, why do people love Che Guevara?
Because, I mean, it's because of his image.
Well, what's the image? He was, you know, what's
freedom fighter, someone who cared for the lower class. That's kind of what people like about him.
Exactly, the lower class. Like, the thing with lower class is that it's not a correct, it's a misnomer to think that society has classes per se like that. It violates the ancient teachings. According to the ancient teachings, there's no such thing as an oppressor class and an oppressed class. It's just society's not meant to work that way. It's meant to work in unison. And anytime you assume that it doesn't work in unison, it just makes you... Like, how does Marxism make people feel? It makes them feel fucking terrible because it makes them feel like they're getting taken advantage of by some mystical system. It's just a way to distract people from the real people who are exploiting them. Because if they're going after some fake...
Who's the real people exploiting them?
Well, you know, the cabal, the... whoever's pulling the purse strings in the international banks.
Yeah, so, what, Alan Greenspan?
Alan Greenspan is what they call a useful idiot. I think he's a Keynesian, right?
No, I don't think he is. Oh, he acted like Keynesian.
Oh, no, that's Ben Bernanke, right? Sorry. I don't
Well,
tell
Bernanke is Keynes. The other guy, he was like... He wasn't school. He wasn't Chicago, was he?
I think so.
He might have been Chicago.
I think it was Chicago. He was first put on there by Reagan.
Let's see if he's Chicago. He might be Chicago, though. I'm not sure. Let's see.
Pretty sure he was Chicago.
Hold on. Let me get this baby out of here. Oh, he keeps coming in here.
The thing about him, though, is that he acted like a Keynesian. He lowered interest rates and shit.
Lowering or increasing interest rates individually, that's not a Marxist thing. The problem with Marxism
He
is
lowered interest rates.
Neither
one is really Marxist. I don't know. I don't even think central banking was central banking a big thing during Marx's time?
No, I don't think
Somebody look up the Communist Manifesto. Look up the Communist Manifesto, and that one of the things in that is the central bank.
You never read it.
I think it's page 5.
Never read it, though. So
it's very short. It's very short.
Did the guy really know that much about central banking, like to even like talk about it?
No, I don't think he did.
Yeah.
He didn't like banks because banks are, you know, it's capital. Banks wouldn't exist in a Marxist system.
Say that again?
Banks wouldn't exist in a Marxist system because there'd be no capital.
Well, what is a Marxist system?
Abolishment of private property.
Anarcho-communism.
Yeah, pretty much.
So the entire world becomes North Korea?
No,
Nope.
because North Korea has a government. And Marx wanted the government to go away eventually.
You can't have a completely classically cluster. There's always going to be some degenerates, and there's always going to be some people who take care of the degenerates. They just can't help it. It's just the way humans are. They're like meant to live in a like group of people and take care of each other, I guess. Can't just be totally selfish all the time, I don't think. I don't think it makes people happy.
Sure it does.
It just seems like if you abolish private property, then
You only ever become happy if you're selfish.
well, you have to put yourself first. But there's a difference between putting yourself first and being egocentric. There's a total difference between those things. But I agree, you have to put yourself first. You can't always just do the bidding of other people and help them out. You have to put yourself first. Anarcho-communism,
Yo, you all have to put me first.
it just seems like who's going to be in charge of the land / you're never going to get people to give up their land.
You all have to give up your land, guys. I need some land.
I don't even have land.
You have one room for all of you. The rest of it is mine.
Everyone can have 1 meter to live on. The rest belongs to the state.
Hey,
I'm
what
the
if
state.
what does everyone think if let's see, I'm trying to think of a good sci-fi book to compare it to. Let's say, has anyone read The Culture? No? Okay. If we ever lived in a future society where we developed artificial intelligence, couldn't something like communism work then, when we no longer actually relied on humans to do labor?
It all depends who's in charge. So
Oh,
far,
if it's not humans doing
not
No. We're gonna like even let's factor that out. Even is it possible that like the most optimal system would be like something like maybe even just socialism? Let's not go maybe even as far as communism. Like I don't know, because communism isn't that I don't want to even get into
market system is the most efficient.
what.
Market system is the most efficient.
Yeah, we know that, but the laws of economics do change over time, and if you have artificial intelligence that can actually displace, like we're talking about, like artificial intelligence takes over to a point where that they actually like are doing everything, so that there's no more room for work.
Well, I mean, at that point, resources would become so abundant you could just surplus. Like you just everyone would have them.
Everyone would have shit. Yeah. We don't even have to work. How are you going to distribute stuff? How do you do this fair?
Well, everything would be cheap. You could still have a market system. You barely have to work. There'd be work to do still.
What if there wasn't any work to do?
Yeah,
what
what
if
if there
human
isn't-
labor?
I can't imagine a system where machines do everything, including art, entertainment, just everything. There's always going to be something to do.
Why would there be, Ivan? I mean, you should read this culture series that I told you about.
I guess if there's no,
I never even heard of that.
You should totally read it. It's the greatest series ever. It's called The Culture.
Yeah, you told me a lot about it.
Yes,
mean,
I
if-
did.
Everything is that cheap and there's no work to do. What would be the point of the rich people restraining people from owning things?
Wait, sorry, can you say that again? The what?
If everything was that cheap, there's no work to do. What
would anyone do?
Okay. You
I
can't.
didn't
Am I
hear
lagging? Am I cutting out? What's happening?
Yeah. You're cutting out a little bit.
What I'm saying is, what would even be the point of restricting people from resources if we're that abundant?
If you have that's the idea. You just distribute stuff pretty equally. Like,
Who would distribute it anyways?
what?
Who would distribute it anyways?
What do you mean? Why would you distribute it?
Who would distribute
No. I mean, you can't have an infinite amount of stuff. Where would you put it? Like, you understand what I mean? Like, So, like,
Even
how would
VR.
you would have to set a limit?
Right. Ivan, maybe Ivan, would you be against in principle a philosopher king if it was an AI which
We
was
can have
perfectly moral?
we could do that.
I'd totally be in favor of that.
We're not. I don't think we're there yet, but
Sorry, one
Of
more
course
time.
not. But we're just talking hypothetically.
I mean, I guess I'd as long as it
Yes.
people do what they want. As long as it's not globalist.
Ori Klein would like us to give him the 411. So someone go ahead. Hi, Ori.
Hello.
Ew.
Oh, we were talking about if we can get to the point in like a society where we have like really good where we've developed artificial intelligence to the point where it could totally displace all like the need for human labor. What would a socialist society then be like a viable option, or like maybe even the best option? Because we just
No. What's gonna happen is essentially the dystopian future that we've seen in like in Robocop, stuff like that. Basically, those who had the power always will remain in power. The rest will become unemployed, soil and green material.
even if you have people in power that don't deserve it and blah blah blah, how do you distribute stuff if there's no need for labor? That's the idea.
That's the thing. We all become redundant. They remain in power because they've always been in power. They will remain in power throughout. They will have people protect them with firepower because those close to the plate get to eat from it, even if it's only the reminders. And the rest of us are basically fucked. Because there's no more need for us. We are no more longer needed for labor or anything.
Okay.
They'll just harvest all the resources available, collect them to themselves, and that's it. And the rest of us, well, screw you guys, basically.
The rest of us will get, let's see, we'll get defiled, man. We'll get lost. There'll be no more life then, if the rest of us aren't there. If we don't get resources for life.
I think there's still a lot more us than them. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but will you have firepower more than them?
Jen Sharp,
Quite unlikely.
I don't know.
Let's take a more plausible, more closer scenario. Something like big alien invasion, World War III, whatever starts tomorrow. What's going to happen? The majority of the citizenry will just get plowed. They'll get mowed, they'll get killed. They are done for. What will happen with the people with power? Well, they'll have armed escorts, they'll have the army, and they'll go to their bunkers or big airships or whatever, and they'll escape.
Sure.
It's the same thing, and it's the same thing. Once we are redundant to them, they don't need us. So it'll be like slums area where you're trying to survive somehow, and they live in their little happy towers with robotic minions, and that'll be the end of it.
So you're saying they'd like kill us off?
Only if we'll try to rebel against them, but otherwise they won't have to. We'll just kill each other to survive, and we'll die of starvation, whatever, because they'll have no more need to maintain any systems that support the state as a state, any country, anything, any people, because they have the robots now. If it advanced to that kind of level, they don't need us. They don't need us to think, to invent, to work. There's no need for people, basically. Just the rich elite, whatever, and they'll continue to exist. The rest of us will just slowly die out.
There's two things they're not taking into account. One is they're fighting amongst each other. And the other one is no human actually wants to kill another human that much.
Yes.
History kind of refutes the second. As
That's
for the
mass
first,
hysteria. Mass hysteria that happens during a war is not the same thing as bloodlust.
What about Jeff?
Getting cut.
Go their whole life never killing anyone if they have the choice.
If they have the choice, yes.
So
As
they're
for
not going to
them
go
fighting each other,
fucking.
their fighting each other will be more like a proxy war, sort of.
Well, they're all fighting, like, it's not like two people. It's probably like, I'm guessing at least 20 groups of gangs, of legitimate gangs. They're all using government as a cover to run their operation.
Or if we're talking like the Illuminati, Freemason, etc., they are basically around five top. If I remember correctly, there are about 5 top families that control
I
the
don't
world,
care.
more or less,
Honestly, I figure
and about 30 more
fucking
sub-families.
bullshit. I bet every single one of those fuckers is fake. Every single one of those fuckers is a plant, I bet. I bet every piece of intel on the internet is bullshit because they would just put so much disinfo out there. So I don't even care, but I know they're out there.
Not necessarily, because we
Someone's
do
gonna
have
get them up.
historic
Jennifer,
records.
you should answer Ian's question.
Who do I want to do BDSM with in the chat?
Yeah, that's what you should
What's the relevance to BDSM? I mean, I'm into BDSM, but what's
You mentioned it
the
earlier.
relevance?
Oh.
Yeah, I do remember that. If you're wild,
I guess I missed that.
If I was going to die tomorrow, would I have any regrets? And the only one I could think of was off the top of my head, you know. I wished I could have done more of it, but, you know, this culture is very...
Well, that's quite hedonistic.
Wait, who did you choose for the? What's your answer for the question that Ian asked?
I'm not going to answer that question, but okay. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that you guys are worried about me being happy. That touches my heart. It does, a lot.
I think she's embarrassed to answer.
So, you
Definitely knows who she wants to with, too.
oh, yeah, I'm just like...
Oh, yeah,
I think it would be Ian. I think it would be Ian.
Oh.
Yeah, from the way the chat is going, I'm going to guess Ian also.
Yeah.
All right, so who's the dom and who's the
I'm not
sub?
sure about any of your names, I'm sorry.
Who's the dom and who's the sub?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm a gay universal gaylord. That's my orientation.
Oh, you're a lesbian?
Jessica Cat comes in and then leaves right away after hearing what's going on here.
You're
no,
not
I'm
a
gay
lesbian.
Universal gaylord. It's a new sexual orientation for my new religion that I invented. You say it when someone is being like an SJW about their social or sexual orientation. You just tell them you're a gay universal gaylord, and it's way better this way than caring.
So who's the leader of your religion?
Me,
Like,
obviously. Who the fuck else is gonna lead my religion but me?
Who's the Messiah? Like, who's God?
Who's God? Well, honestly, like, there doesn't need to be a God, really, seriously.
You have like a 10 Commandments.
I have the fourfold action model, which is gravity, uncertainty, electricity, entropy. It's gonna be awesome. I cannot lose a debate. I make grown men cry regularly.
I beat you before. What are you talking about?
Sorry?
I won before. What are you talking about?
Won what?
The debate.
About what?
I don't know. You brought up some stuff with that. When I brought up my graphs and shit. Definitely won that one.
Well, you evoked the law of large numbers as somehow that was justifying it. I still don't think that it doesn't violate causality to practice that type of banking system. It's inflationary, and it will eventually come crashing down.
I think the only way to know for sure
Well, is there...
So
is to have every single factor in two societies the exact same. It's like have two societies that are the exact same, and try one style of finance in one society, and the other society try the other.
Well, we've had certain things. We've had like we choked the money supply during the Great Depression, and we saw.
But the thing is, back then when there's no central bank, it was a totally different economy. Today.
No. The Great Depression was after the central banking was.
And what I mean is before the central bank was established, it was a totally different system, completely, like the economy.
A totally different system. I don't know what you mean by that.
Like
I mean, the cycles were really, really unstable then.
Different.
What?
the economy was totally different. It was harder to manufacture things, for example.
You think it
Like,
just
of course,
changed?
economic growth is going to be slower overall.
No. The growth, all right. Growth is relative from where you are. So
Yeah, but it's
not-
harder. It's harder to go forward if all you have is, you know, like let's say you're a caveman. It's harder to get to the next step than it is if you have like intelligent computers and everything working for you.
There's a limit to how much AI can do, though, right? It's
Well,
not.
no, that's all I'm saying. I'm saying
You're not going to have a girlfriend that's a machine that you can just program to do whatever you want. Like, that's never.
No. That's a different topic. No, we're
All you
talking
need
about.
to do is do blowjobs.
No, I think that I think the jump though from the second industrial, like I said before, like from electricity and magnetism, that's a tremendous jump. You have lights. You have to build. Let me think. What else?
So you're saying the central bank
Steel.
caused all that?
No, I'm saying what happened is that before the central bank, there was collapses. There was financial crises all the time, huge ones, right? And even though that we had this great growth in technology, that the problems with currency, monetary problems, were inhibiting economic growth. And after the establishment of central banking, they were able to calm panics and such, mainly panics. Does that answer your question at all, or no?
It does a bit, and I can see your point. But
People are panicking, right?
still think the monetary policies we have today are pretty terrible.
Why is that again? Because you think they're inflationary?
Yeah, the monetary policies we have today are pretty inflationary.
Where's the inflation right now?
I don't know. It said like 3%, something like that.
Is it?
I think so. I don't know. I haven't checked in a while.
Let's see. Well, actually, that's about right. Hold on, let's just check.
That's the inflation we have right now.
That seems about right. It could be at 2 or something. Inflation.
It doesn't matter. Once
Like
a
2%.
in, it doesn't.
It's not that. But we've been pumping out cash for how many years, and that's like normal inflation, isn't it?
I don't know what normal inflation is, but it's on average 2%.
Yeah, but we've been pumping out cash since 2008, a shitload. How come there hasn't been abnormal inflation?
Because they are.
There has been, just not in all sectors. Like
Well, we're not going to talk about. We're talking about an aggregate. We're talking about the entire economy. There's, of course, there's going to be
China's devaluing
fluctuations
its currency.
from one industry to another. There might be fluctuations, but we're going to talk about the entire economy. Look, talking about this. So let's take the whole thing and look at that.
Like, look at housing. Like, housing is affected the most by interest rates and stuff like that. Like, look at the inflation and like housing prices.
I'm talking about the entire. I'm talking about the consumer price index. No, he's not.
Again, that's a manufactured number to ease people freaking out about the amount of money being pumped into the system.
What's your backing of that?
Obviously,
Why do
I
you think that?
transcend knowledge. I mean, fucking, there
Sounds
is.
kind of pulled out of someone's ass to me, to be honest. But
Well, it's not just because you're increasing the money supply. Again, this comes back to the petrodollar. This comes back to China not wanting to lose control of its industries and its growth economies. Like, have you seen China's empty cities? Like,
what do you mean by China's empty cities? Explain it to me. I'm not familiar with it.
It's what you think it is.
Do you mean their cities emptied out? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, they were just never filled.
They built cities that are never filled. That's what you're saying. Well, I don't know. It could be that they emptied out. How the fuck do I know?
I don't know what's going on.
What's taxflation?
It's inflation and taxes combined.
What we call China's ghost city.
Inflation is basically a tax, though. So, taxation.
Taxation is theft, guys. And if you support taxation, you're a thief. And if you're a thief, I'm going to defoe you.
Do you want me shot?
Dude, that video is so cringy though.
Rationale.
Would you have me shot? Classic never gets old.
Dude, I love the reply that Thunderfoot made.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, sometimes I would. Something like that.
No, he was like, every time he says, "Do you want me shot?" he shows a bunch of cults following him, and the cults are told, "The other's gonna kill you, but we are gonna save you."
Okay, how about this though? I forgot to bring up this point before also. What about whenever the central bank collects money? Which it does whenever we have an inflation problem. Whenever there's actual inflation, the central bank tightens the currency supply.
Well, then you'd have deflation.
No, disinflation, not deflation.
Right, same thing, right? In the end.
No. Disinflation means lowering inflation. Deflation is when it goes below zero.
Okay. Let's go with that then. It's inflation.
Okay, so like we've engaged in disinflation whenever we've had inflationary problems. That was a central bank motion to control inflation.
But any inflation is an inflation problem.
Why?
Because it discourages people from saving and putting into things that aren't the stock market.
It
And then the
devalues
stock market is, and anything bad that happens to the stock market can cause
no.
problems. Everyone's money is in there.
Hold on. No. Inflation encourages people to save.
No, it discourages people.
Hold on. No.
If
You might be right. No. It encourages people to invest, not save.
But investing all your money in this, but it doesn't promote investment of all kind. It promotes very specific kinds of investment in things like the stock market. And then any problem the stock market has a bigger effect.
Anything that has interest on it would it's an incentive to do, and it would have an incentive. Only if it's only holding it under your mattress would be under, like, it would benefit you to hold on to money if there's deflation, right? Then you would want to save money. You would not want to. You would want to put it. I mean, not invest money and just save it. And, hold on, this baby's coming in my room again.
Or but encouraging people to save and to invest makes
You don't want people to just keep money under their mattress though. That's not doing anything. You want money to exchange hands. That's how money becomes someone's income. Every time money changes hands, that's someone getting paid. I mean, like, not exactly, but
that prevents you from getting ahead, not being able to save anything.
Right. So you want in it, but there's a trade-off, right? Let's say, but then now we have a way of having a trade-off. If you can invest money, right? That's a way of saving money and having your money gain value at the same time. That's what the function of.
Yeah, but then any collapse in the stock market just creates this huge.
I'm sorry?
If everyone's money is in the stock market because you've incentivized investing, any problem the stock market has will just have huge societal impacts.
But that's the cost.
And also, when you save,
you're talking about that's the cost. We're talking about cost versus benefits.
I don't think the benefits are worth it because even when you're just saving, you have money sitting. No, like people probably don't stuff their money in the mattress. They put it in the bank, right? Like
they put it in the bank because they don't want. There's no incentive to put it in the bank if there's deflation.
Sure, there is.
Well, I guess if deflation is less than, if deflation is greater than the actual interest rate of the bank, then yes, you are actually correct.
If you put money in the bank, though,
It depends on the interest rate, doesn't it?
If
the deflation rate is greater than the interest rate, then that's whenever it would be worth keeping under your mattress. Right?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
But just keeping your money in the bank isn't like it's still exchanging hands. Like the banks lend it out.
Right. That's why you want an incentive for people to put it into the bank.
Yeah, but you don't want an incentive to put it in the stock market.
I mean, the stock market's for more risky people. You want people to put their money in the bank.
But everyone puts their money in the stock market, though.
You talking about when the bank invests in the stock, or whenever they try to do their diverse investments? Is that what? I don't understand what you mean. Everyone puts their money in the stock market. I don't have money in the stock market. I mean, I don't know what you mean by that.
Now let me find this.
You talking about the bank like taking my money and like putting part of it in there? Is that what you mean? I'm not following.
Well, I mean, everyone, like when they. Well, yeah, that's one thing, but also, like the. Hang on, I forget everything. Forgot everything I had. Everyone, in some way, is invested in the stock market, though. From investment groups, banks, everything.
Okay.
The whole thing is basically a house of cards, right? That's what it is. And right now it's being run by a bunch of morons. Really shitty morons. Like, this is why I feel like we have to just take it over. Because they suck at it.
Take what over?
The power fucking... Get a bunch of illegal gangsters to help us rid the currently hidden by law gangsters. That'll work. That'll work just fine. The problems are the problems are artificial, right? Their problems are created. They're just trying to like hide their fuck ups, right?
There's always going to be problems.
It's nice not to have like the Israel-Palestine thing. As much as people want to, you know, pontificate about it, it's obviously a psyop designed to make people feel morally confused, which pisses me off to the point of becoming like really pissed, as mad as a person could be. Because I've suffered the fools who fall for this narrative bullshit, and now I want to fucking...
James left.
I want to... What? Yeah, cause and effect. Time for a little cause and effect! I just want to meet Putin and be like... Just give him the biggest eye wink of life. Put me in a room with Putin and Trump, we'll solve all the world's problems. There's so many fucking gangsters out there, seriously. Gangsters are a dime. I don't want to say gangsters are a dime a dozen, but there's so many of them.
Would you take Putin for BDSM?
Probably.
What? What about BDSM?
Would you give Putin a chance for BDSM?
I feel like he's really short. Like I'm 5'10".
He is short.
You know what I mean?
He's very self-conscious about that fact too. You should mention if you ever meet him.
I'll just like hunch over.
We'll probably have you killed.
I feel like we would be BFFs. Putin and I feel like we would understand each other. I feel like we literally have the same personalities. Weird as that sound.
He probably believes in reincarnation too.
Well, yeah, like the Russians had a bunch of psychics and stuff. Like the Russians are they're pretty cool.
How did you get into BDSM?
How did I get into it? Oh my god. Like it's my sexual orientation, literally. Like I can't imagine.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure you can't try that as a sexual orientation.
I mean, when did you start? You did at an early age?
Like I think when I was younger, I remember distinctly I was attracted to women. I remember seeing this Ray Liotta movie clip thing and thinking to myself, would I rather be with the woman or the man? And my immediate response was the woman. And what you guys were saying before, like I kind of do think maybe all women. If you think about it, we all like boobs, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
More or less.
Why deny it?
Okay.
I just think it's kind of perverse to deny those natural instincts.
Hello,
Welcome, Bob. I love your name.
Hello.
Enid, David.
Hello.
Is Bob?
Everyone, this is my best friend, David.
Wait, where are you?
David, David, we're talking about BDSM as a sexual orientation.
Yeah, I talked to the guy at Have a Gay Day about that. He's like, it's not full issue. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
An accurate representation of BDSM.
Well, I was like, why can't BDSM and LGBT just join together, right? Why can't we do that? And he's like, well, we'd have to include every single fetish. I'm like, just put fucking F for fetish. But he didn't want to fucking do it. Why? Karl fucking Marx. Karl.
I mean, Two Spirited is in there.
Just out of curiosity, do you call anything you hate Marxist?
Sorry?
Do you call anything you hate Marxist?
When I see the consequences of the degeneracy of being a Marxist society manifest on a level that it ruins my sex life because Marxist feminists cause men to become, I don't want to say what I think they're like, and women to become, I also don't want to say what I think they're like. So
Wars.
it's harmful to my, I don't want to say that word. I just like, I'm gay for domination. That's what it is. That's my sexual orientation. And I just feel like that's my whole thing, but it's fine. Nobody's into it. I get it. Everybody's a Marxist. It's fine. I'm giving up.
If you don't like BDSM, you're a Marxist.
No. I just feel like if people weren't Marxists, then I'd be getting a lot better. I wouldn't, sex wouldn't be, I don't want to talk about this.
So Marx affects people's sex lives.
Actually, can I just throw something out there? David is on the dating market. Jennifer, you're single. Go ahead, talk.
No, he's mine.
Thought she's a lesbian.
I'm not single. I'm not single, and I don't even want to say I said I'm okay. My
What?
sexual orientation. I'm gonna go with gay universal gaylord. Okay.
David,
Why
what's
are
your
we even
sexual
talk?
orientation?
Not that, like, okay, great, sex is awesome, we all have sex, we all have talking about sex, but
Is anyone here part of the LGBT?
why is this the topic all of a sudden? We switch from talking about economy,
I'm not
politics,
personally.
political,
I'm
whatever.
not personally LGBT.
We ran out of topics already.
I think it came as she said she likes Putin, then I was like, would you like Putin in the BDSM? Then everyone began expanding on the story.
You're kind of cutting in and out.
Yeah, I couldn't understand a thing you said.
Oh, it's because I'm busy practicing my BDSM moves.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle, seriously. So
Had like a whole room dedicated to it.
Seriously, how's that a lifestyle? Like you do it every day? Who has sex every day?
not me.
Man.
It's a mon.
Not me.
My girlfriend is a town away, so yeah, we only meet on weekends.
I have sex once a year.
Thanks for sharing.
That's
Annually.
what the chat says. That's on me. Chat.
Oh. Wait, do you? Where's MHC? What do you consider sex?
Put it another way. How many numbers when you do have sex?
Huh?
When you do have sex, how many times? How many numbers?
What do you mean?
How
Yeah.
many times do you?
Why don't you answer
How many
your
times do you
story?
make her come?
I don't know.
Are you talking to me?
No, everyone.
Yeah, are you talking to her? Who are you talking to, Ori?
Everyone.
Okay, 0 times.
Well,
That's my
girls are
answer.
Wait, sorry,
What?
repeat the question. I was kind of distracted.
Like before you said, no, you don't have sex every day, right? So, but if we could, we would probably. I mean, I know if I live with my girlfriend, yes, we would every day. So, like, I make it a different question. When you do have sex, how many numbers you go through?
I'm going to go for 4.
Everyone quiet. So no one
Wait,
counts.
are you just
Your
talking about
sex is the worst
masturbation
ever?
or actually? Are you
No,
talking about
having sex. Having
Just-
sex
okay,
with your
with-
significant other.
with myself? Is my significant other?
His hand.
Me, myself, and
Jennifer, go help him. Aya needs help.
Jennifer feels sorry for you, Ian.
I think this
Jennifer, give
How BDSM is
Ian some
fast.
tip on getting rid of his Marxist thinking.
Maybe in a
So how does
future life,
BDSM and Marxism relate exactly?
I'll come back if Marxism is gone, and I can rule my church and get domed and be happy.
Wouldn't you be fine with Marxism since you're fine with domination? Pretty
Not
authoritarian.
by a disgusting fat piece of shit like Marx. I don't really like
Would you
getting
engage
domed
in
by
BDSM?
degenerate. That's my thing. I kind of have like, it's like my anti-fetish is getting domed by Marx. Apparently,
Would you engage in
Do we know? Do we even know if Marx was into BDSM?
I think he had a wife.
probably not. He was
I don't think so.
smart.
No, just kidding.
He was just a very unhappy, degenerate person. For some reason,
Yo,
certain people
you won't
want
believe it. I just googled Marx BDSM and 0 results. No joke.
Serious?
Makes
Are you-
sense.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah.
That's the fucking crazy shit of my life that you just said right now.
Try it right now. Marx
You ruined Jennifer's fantasy.
Ian said, What's up, Mike?
Holy crap.
See? Mike has already cleared himself from the Marxist thinking. He's already pro BDSM.
Yeah,
Well,
I like
you know what?
BDSM.
I don't
Why
know.
are you linking Ian? Why
Oh
are
my
you
God,
linking
Ian. What is this?
Jezebel?
What's your question?
Marx and Engels / fic?
Like, I don't want to be in a gangbang with Marx and Engels on any level.
Well, what if we?
Mike is the expert man on BDSM. Mike and Jennifer can teach us about BDSM, man.
I got whips and stuff over there. I'm not bringing them out today. I'm tired. You guys have been busy for a long time.
Jennifer, you
I
sweet.
missed it.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever put inside of yourself? This is to everyone.
Dude, in my
finger.
last live stream, I had someone tell me that they pick cucumber.
I stuck a light bulb up my
I
ass.
was like,
You pull a pen. I hope
No,
you close it first.
Light bulb.
No. The end of a walkie-talkie. There you go.
You put that in your ad?
I didn't say that.
That's very unsanitary, I would think.
New York Department Police.
No,
New
no,
York Police
no,
officer attacked by man with a cleaver.
You should start with a finger and some lube first, I would imagine.
I know the answer, but I don't want to say. It's just too horrible.
Oh, now you have to
Now
say
you're
it.
teasing us. What the heck?
I don't want this permanently on the internet. What if I want to run for politics?
I think that will
Write it in the chat.
make you votes rather than detract from them.
Well, I think I can get people.
What advice do you have for Ian? I mean, you're not going for the religious vote anyway, right?
I mean, Trump was on the cover of Playboy, and he's running for office just fine.
Yeah, and his wife.
Yeah, his wife is like porno stars and shit.
Yeah.
Like, no one's gonna care. 2016.
The difference between the Republicans and the Democrats is like the Democrats hide it better, and the Republicans pretend that they aren't into it when they are.
And they're usually in both ways.
Oh, I put a Megatron in my ass once.
Why not Optimus Prime? You evil bastard!
I had him untransformed. It was horrible.
Freaking weirdo pervert.
At least this isn't on YouTube.
Send you the link to Marxist BDSM results on Bing.
Why are you using Bing? Come on.
It's the default browser I have.
Sucks.
On one of the. What'd you say?
Bing sucks.
I mean, it's much better than Chrome sometimes. So, I mean than Google.
I'm not sure about that.
I mean, since I share my Google account with like 2 people, anyone would know my search results. Whereas if I use Bing, no one knows my search results, quote unquote.
Why are you sharing your Google account with someone else?
Just doing it. One of them was in a collaboration project for our quote unquote book that we started at the time. But we never finished it, so it's still
Alright, everyone, I think I'm done for now. I think I'm gonna get off.
Honestly, good night, guys.
See you later.
It's nice to talk to you all. I had a really good time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Who has seen the South Park song about Colin Kaepernick? Can we listen to it, perhaps?
Maybe let's go off air.
What?
Let's go off air if we're going to listen to something.
So.